Hey, this is Joe Howell from Encore Chat. Thanks everybody for checking in every week and checking out the Encore Chats. It's been a pleasure doing them. So many amazing artists and talented folks out there, and I'm so happy that they took time to talk with me and Pete, or Pete and I should say, and tell us about their journey. So I put together something, stole the title from one of our last Encore chatters, Laura Gonzalez from Manafani. She quoted something as hot tips. So this is going to be my Encore Chat hot tips, kind of best of. Everybody had a great story to tell, and everybody had great insight. So I took a little bit of insight from everybody, put it all in one thing. So if you have students or your children or anybody who needs to get through life, I think these are little tidbits of information that can help you get through life. One little statement at a time from some really, really awesome musicians. Coming up on Encore Chat, I hope to have some remote stuff happening. I have a couple of venues I'm going to visit with a couple of really, really great acts, so hopefully stay tuned, find those. And if you know somebody who you think should be on Encore Chat or would like to be on Encore Chat, please don't hesitate to contact us on the Facebook page. Please just say, hey, I think I want to be on Encore Chat. I'd love to see what you do, and so be it. We'll have at it. So hopefully we have some good new shows coming up, and thank you for tuning in. Be well. Sorry summer's over, but you know what? All good things must come to an end. Be well. Take care.
So my question to you, Chris, is what got you into this?
Well, when I was in school, home ec was filled, so I decided to go for the guitar course.
Okay.
Here I am. No, I asked a friend of mine who was with a major band back in the '80s one time about music, and I said, like, why do you keep doing this? He said, music is something that kind of chooses you.
Yeah.
He said, you don't choose it.
That's it.
Wow. But you have to have an open mind, and you have to be diligent about studying.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not diligent about studying, then don't do it.
Right.
And then find something else. Because everyone has special gifts, and you just have to find that special gift.
I did this career day thing, right? And had 6 different classes of like 20 kids, and they wanted to know about what it's like to play in a band, and that's your job, blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking and explaining, and I'm playing different things, and in every class, half of them were just like spacing out, and I was like, and I said to the teacher, who was the music teacher for the school, I was like, man, what a difficult job you have, because you got to be juggling, got to be juggling cats on fire to keep these to keep their attention.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So that's where I think the challenge is. But on the other side of it, it would be terrible if they stopped having music things at the school and stuff like that, because it's not going to go away. I mean, playing musical instruments is not going to go away. It's just that right now there's a little bit of a lapse in the immediate interest in it, maybe.
It's cutting through a lot of stuff where you can save a lot of time. You can make very quick progress, and you can have a lot of fun. Having enthusiasm for it is the secret. That's I think people only get turned off. It's funny. It's like anything. You have some experience, and maybe it turns you off, and it's you wrapping the experience up with being turned off by what you're doing, but that's not it. It's maybe that person just wasn't the right.
Connect with you.
Right. It'd be you just have to find someone you like to work with, and that can be great.
Yeah.
I felt it was very helpful.
The information becomes so cheap that you don't actually absorb it. It's like, oh yeah, here's a Tony Williams video, I'll watch that for 2 seconds. Oh, here's somebody else, I'll watch that for 2. And so you wind up with a very shallow field of knowledge. Okay, so
good point.
What I encourage my students to do is have a hero. Have a guy, like, if there's somebody you like, dig into that person, study that person. Whatever it is you're into, if you play bass or guitar or if you sing, do an in-depth study and try to glean inspiration. And then when you've done that, you move on.
You gotta love it, though. I mean, you have to, when you're a kid, playing it and then realizing, wow, I'll sit here for 4 hours and do
Right.
this, 5 hours and do this. You know, I'm not going to go out drinking with everybody. You know, I'll do that later.
From a guitar player standpoint, there's not a lot of guitar in music anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of it is programmed synthesizers or programmed drum machines or whatever. It's a lot of computer-driven music where the guitar has taken a huge back seat. When I was a kid, the guitar was at the forefront. Everything was guitar.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to play music, you had to learn guitar. That was it. So I think if kids want to start today and they want to learn guitar, they're really going to have to dig deep and go back a few years to find the guitar music that I think we all fell in love with. So I think that's a big thing. I think that modern music today just doesn't have that.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And if you want to spend like 2 months making your fingers very painful, then you can have maybe 20 or 30 years worth of really feeling great by being able to pick up an instrument, going into a room, getting in touch with your emotions and your spirit, and maybe sharing that with some other people who you love. That's a very important thing because it's not a fast deal. No, it's not like, you know, I'm going to sit down at the computer and play the guitar. You know, and the first time you sat down on a computer, you might not have learned, as fast as you wanted to. So anything that's really worth something is going to take a little bit of time.
I think some kids who may try it may go like, this is just too hard, and then give up on it. When if I had any advice, it would be just stick with it. Get yourself some lessons, but just don't give it up. If you really, really want to do it and you really like it, I think you can. You'll learn it.
And get over that hurdle.
Just from my own experience with lessons and training, it's a discipline that sticks with you forever. When you can play an instrument and when you can sing or do any of those things, it's something that you'll always have with you, and it's something that is always a part of you. And so if you can persevere through the tough times and you can, practice and keep going, I think that the end result is something that is really, really amazing and that you'll want to keep forever.
There is no shortcut. If someone says there's a shortcut, it's false. You eventually got to fill in the gaps. There's no shortcut, and there's no shortcut for spending time at something. And it's time that makes you an expert with anything in life. It's the time you spend with it. So you have to put in a lot of time on an instrument to be good at it. And I'm particularly thankful that I had great teachers to help just steer me.
Right. Okay.
I think it's really important for people to learn, the basics of everything and pick up an instrument, because you learn rhythm, you learn chords and chord progressions that are really important. And you pick up stuff subconsciously that you wouldn't realize. Mm-hmm. And plus, it opens up to writing, and you don't have to rely on a producer to be in the studio and make you a track. You can just sit there and write yourself and send it out.
I myself wouldn't turn down an opportunity to study with another teacher, just because there's that give and
connection
take.
to get back in it.
And not only taking lessons, but teaching yourself. I mean, as a teacher, if you play an instrument, teach somebody else to do what you're doing, because you'll find that by analyzing how to explain it to somebody else, you'll learn something yourself. You'll analyze something that you've maybe never thought of. It's like, I do that. Well, how do I really do that? Even if you're a beginner or an intermediate, if you have a little brother or a sister who's learning something, try to teach them, because it'll make you even more aware of what you're doing.
And I'm a rule breaker. Because the rules were written way long ago. We don't have to abide by all of them.
Right.
The difference between a musical genius and somebody who knows nothing about music is they can play the exact same thing, but the musical genius can tell you why he did it. The other person is going, oh no.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a real good point.
The way the studio and the drumming thing has changed, we don't all play in the same room anymore. Sometimes when it comes to recording a record, it used to be you at least had the guts of the band.
Yeah, the live
drums, a bass player.
Yep.
Now it's crazy. Sometimes at my studio, the only guy in the studio is me. I'm the engineer and the drummer, and never met the bass player. A lot of things I've played on a lot of songs and records with artists I've never met.
Wow.
Because of the internet.
Yeah.
Yep. It's changed so much.
As far as the state of music today, I mean, I don't envy the kids, that's for sure. Because like I remember when I was growing up, man, it's like everybody played for the most part. At one point there were too many guitar players. I remember, you know, every band that I played in when I was a teenager, it was almost like we were a southern rock band because we had like
14
three or four guitar
Yeah.
players, and you're like, dude, really? Come on, man.
2 drummers, you know. It's
yeah, and you know, 2 of them couldn't play. Whatever. But anyway, but everybody played, and so there was like a lot of interaction. Whereas I found today, like a lot of kids don't play, or if they do, they don't put bands together. Like I don't know how kids go about forming bands. Like once again, when I was a kid, it was like, you know, Johnny
Walk
freaking
down the
plays
block,
drums,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, something.
Let's
you
call
know
them
what I mean?
and, you know, we'll get together.
Right. So it's a totally different scene.
Studying, taking lessons, just in general.
I think it's incredibly important.
Okay.
For a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, to really play guitar, you really need to know what's going on, and not just necessarily what's going on with you. You need to know what's the bass playing. You know, what's the kick pattern. You need to know kind of everything musically that's happening around you. And I think studying is definitely your first foray into that. You start understanding more intimately what's going on with you and your instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you to understand also what's going on harmonically in an entire piece of music. So then you can start understanding, like, oh, this guy's holding down a third. You know, this guy is, I need him for the backbeat. There's so many elements that I think the more you know, the more informed you are, the more educated you are. It just makes it easier to put the pieces together.
Yeah, a story before, and I thought it was pretty funny. That's why I want to mention it, about you and your younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
That
My brother
he
Rob.
was playing guitar, right? First, I mean,
Yes.
tell the story. You start back from when,
Yeah.
even at that age, you have musicians that bump heads. They always will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just go back on that and tell me a little
Yeah,
bit.
me and my brother Robert. Yeah, we were always growing up. You know, we started playing guitar about the same time. You know, Mom got us guitars same time for Christmas. You know, I was in 10th grade, and we were always, you know, making noise and jamming. And it was always like, well, you know, you're not playing that right. Play it like this, you know. And he was like, no, play it like this. It's like this, you know. Play it like this.
Creative
Like,
minds
and
arguing.
Yeah, and we're like, no, and we just start butting heads, and almost to the fisticuffs, you know, but never to that point, but close, you know. But finally, over a number of years, I got him to, you know, switch over to the drums, and we were like clicked.
And he got along.
Thick as thieves then, clicked right in.
And the other thing is communication. You have to communicate with your instructor. If you start out and it seems too boring for you, because people learn in different ways, if the music's too boring, if the lessons are too slow, if they're not working to your pace, communicate that with your teacher. Your teacher's able to make it fun and exciting, because that's what music is.
Yeah.
Music is one of the only mediums that can take you back in time to a place where you heard a song or a sound or a melody and remind you of what you were tasting, feeling, seeing, touching, smelling, all of that just from hearing the song. And I think that it's important to work with your teachers to help you find the commonality, the bond between the music you enjoy and the instruction that's going on to help you get to where you need to be.
I feel that we're never finished
No.
studying, and I speak for the big we, whether it's
Right.
guitar or bass,
Yeah.
there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
Always find a teacher. Or I had great advice from a local artist a long time ago when I was just starting to pitter-patter with these drums, and his name is Chuck Wood. Most of us know him here, some of us know him. He's a great percussionist, and he said something to me that stuck with me still. He said, always find people to play with who are better than you. Make sure you're
It's true, he did say
constantly
that to
playing
us,
with
yeah.
people that are better than you, whether that means studying or gigging out or whatever. And so it was a very effective hot tip.
Yeah. Really put an effort in to learn an instrument. It's so important. Thanks again for lending an ear. Thanks for stopping in to Encore Chat. I'm Pete Schmeeds, that owns a small little store called Schmeeds Music, 831 Route 10 East in the Pine Plaza Shopping Center in Whippany, New Jersey. Thanks, guys, and stay in touch to see more videos to come.